start tonight's program, I want to call to the stage the new co-editors of the Poets Press, Ursula Rucker and Yolanda Wisher. And I also would like to call the chair to the stage, please. One more time, let's give it up for Ursula Rucker and Yolanda Wisher. So to start, for Ursula, you were essentially, again, the last poet to publish as a part of the Poets Press. What about that experience made you insist that the Poets Press stay alive? What made you say yes to playing a leadership role?
What probably made me say you need to continue the Poets Press, let me get to the second. I don't know if I agree to the leadership role. Because it's with Yolanda Wisher and Josh Duncan. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I do my leaders. Stuff is a different style. So, when we all get together, then our superpowers connect, and then we can. So I trust and believe in that. And but it was the interview, right, for Word Radio. Okay, so it was after the magazine, which was so beautiful. And the photo shoot, hey, look, it was just such a beautiful experience. And then coming back, and in the interim, the poem that I wrote for the magazine issue has become something that I do regularly, that I share regularly out here, that I made into a song, that I added a little hook to, that me and my homie and Tim Motzer, guitarist, musician extraordinaire, he loves this genre. And I'm like, well, let's do this one tonight. And then, cause the hook and all the things, and I liked it. I like the way I feel when I'm saying it. And I know that poets are important. I don't think we're important. I know we're important. And I know it's important that we tell each other that we're important. And we also tell ourselves, I'm getting a little uncomfortable with the self-love work. And we give so much love. That's one of our favorite things to do, right? Give love. But so often already, and so often already when we write, why we write, how we write, like Yolanda when we did and I wrote the America poem, the subversive America poem. That's my favorite. That's my only kind I can write, the subversive American poem. And I love that poem too. Yeah, we made the video, and I was having a hard-ass time of my life. Painful. I didn't want to be on video. I was feeling real self-conscious. And I like what we made together, and it exists. And it continues. And we already talk about these things, so let's bump it up.
So what was it to be challenged, Ursula, to write about what was happening now? Like, you know, it's about news and current events. Like, it's like, what was that? How is that different?
If you had asked me how is it to not write about...
Well, there you go.
So, even when I'm making a house, you know, because if you don't know, then we could say all our things, what we are, what we do, how many we could fit in, respectfully to ourselves and for others. I'm a house music poet. The first thing I ever recorded was a house music song, and I have not stopped. And if I'm not making solo album projects, which I haven't, and Yolanda just had her release extravaganza situation the other night for a new album. Poets make albums with music. This is not a new thing, but we continue this thing. And even in the house music, you know, for people to twirl or whatever, it's like impossible for me to not put something in there. Something. I don't know, it could just be a revolutionary love poem, a peace poem, hey, I'm gonna talk to you about my sad shit poem. Hey, grief. It's a grief house music song and nobody knows it. Sound feels so good, and, you know? Yeah.
Thank you. Yolanda, for you, you've built poetry infrastructure so that poetry could exist beyond open mics and competitions, which are also very, very important. But what made you say yes to serving as the co-editor of the Poets Press?
You? No. You were very persuasive.
Was I?
Yeah, you were. Okay. You were, and very prepared. Okay. Very impressive. I have an answer to that, and then I just thought of something else I wanted to say, which was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this was to work with Ursula. When I got to Philly in 98, 99, I remember walking into the Painted Bride, Ursula was working in the box office, but you could also see her at performing at Wilhelmina's, and which was a dance club that doesn't even exist anymore. People wouldn't even know. And I knew, because I listened to all the Roots albums, and I know there's this poet on the Roots albums, and I can go see her at the Painted Bride in the box office. So I was I've been a fan and an admirer, and then I got to know you and to know how sweet and humble and generous you are. And I don't think there's many poets in Philadelphia who haven't benefited from your blueprint. And I consider myself a daughter of Sonia Sanchez and a daughter, maybe a sister cousin of Ursula Rucker by proxy. Yeah, sister friend. And I've been lucky enough to now call you a peer and a collaborator. So that's why. That's something that's on your list of things that you want to do in life that you didn't know you wanted to do. So that's one. And then, I've spent a lot of my time the last 25 plus years in Philly building more than just a stage for poets, but building ecosystems, whether it's exhibitions or public art or educational programs, building institutions. And so I think this project for me asks this question that I've been asking for years, which is how can poetry be part of or treated as civic infrastructure as opposed to cultural decoration, right? Or as an accessory to program. And poets have always been on the news, right? We just tell a different kind of news. We tell the emotional, the ethical, the spiritual side of the news. And so this felt kind of a natural place to lean into that, especially at a time when so much is being silenced and so much is being erased. But I also I get excited about mentoring poets, being part of a community of poets, being able to help other folks grow into whatever kind of poetic identity that they want to achieve. And also to be able to leverage I always get excited when there's resources that I can put in the hands of poets.
Ashe, okay. So for both of you, yes, Yolanda, okay, yes, Yolanda. For both of you, why is something like the Poets Press needed? Particularly as we think about the work of hiring poets to respond to and offer perspective on news and current events.
Poets are needed. It's not why poets are needed. It's a statement. It could be a t-shirt, a tote bag, a mug, or whatever. Poets are needed. We're important. We're beyond. We're amazing. We're fantastical. We're wild. We're sad. We understand each other, even if we don't understand the things. We know how to say things, even where we don't give ourselves credit for the fact that we know how to say things. We can get things out of our bodies, out of our minds, out of the past that's become so toxically nostalgic is my thing. Toxic nostalgia is my an anti-toxic nostalgia. I'll come to your reunion and shit, but don't make it toxically nostalgic. You remember we used to, and don't you wish we could still? I'm no. No, let me, I'm often thinking about Sankofa because Sankofa is such a energetic, real thing for me in my life and comes to get me. And I'm okay, well, what is it really? Well, what is it, and what is it for me? What is it in general? And that is this work as well. If we're doing any kind of journalistic work, very often there's going to be research and some kind of history, some kind of story. Hey, this story the Zora Neale Hursting, as I call it, if you are silent about your pain, they will kill you and say you enjoyed it. I'll say this 1,000,000 times because I need the reminder so often myself, so let me also give it to you. If we don't tell our stories, then somebody else will come to the side quite often and decide they want to tell it and write you out of it or write some, okay? So I don't know if I'm answering this question, but I believe in us. I believe in the poets, I believe in this mutual aid, this such a natural thing of mutual aid that grows and becomes in the company of poets is what I have experienced, and I'm always look forward to being in the company of poets, and that we can get paid, and and that we, like Yolanda said, there are resources, and that and then we're excited. We can get paid. Y'all gonna get paid. Whoever. Oh, and then people will submit, and then oh my goodness, well, what are you gonna do? And what are you gonna talk about? And then it's only like the timing and the deadlines that are gonna mess with me. So Joss and Yolanda are gonna help me because we're friends and sisters.
Yolanda, I can repeat the question. Not that you answered it very well, Ursula. Thank you. So why is something like the Poets Press needed, particularly as we think about the work of hiring poets to respond to and offer perspective on news and current events?
Jeez, we are so serious about this shit. I know. We are, for real. Well, I think, the news gives us information, but it doesn't give us meaning, right? It doesn't make meaning out of the information that we're it's constantly assaulting us every day, right? Good or bad. But I think poetry helps you understand, like any given news story, right? A poem can help you understand what it felt like, what it means, what it asks of us to be in that experience. And so I think when news is coming at us really fast, information is coming at us from all different sides, different sources, poetry is a way we can slow down. It's a way that we can ask some deeper questions, some more complex questions than I think just a news story asks us to answer. And I think as poets, we do this already. We're asking the questions like, who's telling this story? Who's missing from the story? What assumptions? We're also what can I do with this story, right? Who needs to hear this story, right? Like there's all these questions that I think a poem and poets ask because we're more deeply embedded emotionally and physically in some of these places that this news is talking about. So I think some of those questions, there's a more democratic process, I think, embedded in the poet's investigation of society. No shade to journalists. I just think we're just two sides of the same coin, perhaps. But we deserve to be able to process events and these happenings in a deeper way, and not necessarily transactional either. Why do I have to get a paywall to get my information? Why do I gotta get through the paywall all the time? I hate that.
Thank you. Well, my last question as part of this conversation, you know what? Maybe I don't want it to be my last question. I actually want to ask a question about Sonia Sanchez. I think the thing that we all share is that we all had this opportunity to learn from Sonia Sanchez. So I would love to actually ask both of you about, for me, studying with Sonia Sanchez gave me the opportunity to learn how to write and feel and explore and truth tell and challenge and protest. And so I bring that to even this work. Sonia Sanchez, I mean, if you study with her, you probably have heard her say, my dear sister, you have got to learn how to make peace profitable. And so I said, well, I'm gonna make love profitable. And so I started Love Now and ran to her like a child. Look what I did, started Love Now. So I just wonder, if there is a lesson or is there something that you learned from her that you will bring to this leadership work?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So much. So much that I'm still learning just from her living, her existence. I think about the fact that I started working with Sonia Sanchez when I was in grad school at Temple, and I tell this story a lot that I stalked her to be my thesis advisor. And there were people in the English department, the creative writing department, who actively tried to discourage me from working with Sonia Sanchez as my thesis advisor, which I thought was ludicrous even then, because I was like, I didn't see your books on the shelves of my undergrad library. Your books weren't telling the story of my life and my community, so how could you teach me what I need to know? And she did. I mean, she was, she's always been an amazing and generous teacher. I think about being in her house and her serving me pieces of watermelon or green tea, which at first I thought was nasty, and then I grew to love, and her calling the TV the idiot box. That's something that she says a lot, is the idiot box. Or she says something like, in a place called Philadelphia. Like, she reminds you that these places had names beforehand. She's a journalist. Like, she be correcting the news. She be reading that paper too. She reads the paper. And she writes letters to the editor. She's like of that generation. So I've learned a lot about her. I think one of the things, I was just telling somebody the other day, it might have been even today, that something that she said just in public spheres, like, as poets and writers, we have to go somewhere deep in the imagination or the psyche, wherever you go when you're going to like a place to write from. You know, it might be a deep place, it might be a dark place, it might be a place you don't want to go, right? Like, you're not necessarily like, it's not going to be a place that's going to get you necessarily all the applause at an open mic, or it's not going to be a poem that will be written in a day. But you got to go there, right? Like, you got to go there and bring something back to share with the rest of us, right? And I've thought about that a lot, because, like, what does it mean to go to those places that are kind of off the map, right? Off the map of the present moment, or off the map of wherever you are in your life. You go there, but you can't get stuck there, right? You can't linger there. You got to come back. It's like, it's a hero's journey, right? To kind of come back and then offer something of that, right? So you got to come back with that thing in yourself intact to share with the rest of us. And that's something that's always stuck with me, that she, and in the way that she's described the work of imagination, the work of creation.
Thank you.
That's amazing, Yolanda. It's very hard for Yolanda and I to answer this question shortly. It would be a whole gathering for this. But yeah, you know, so, I mean, I know when you were with mural artists, you had, you know, and then you had to, so it's a lot of relationship too, and a lot of levels. For me, I don't know, like, I'm trying to see how can a Virgo nutshell this and do it right quick. High school, someone doing a Sonia Sanchez poem during Black History Month, and I'm like, who? What? This is who, right? What is this? You know, and then I'm going and looking stuff up, and then, you know, all my homies, Sonia's son Mungu became in my friend group, and we were always together. And then I became like knowing her work, and so it started with, "Hey Mungu, how your mom? She any readings or whatever?" And I'm like, I don't want to be weird or whatnot. I'm just saying, like, you know, and we be like stalking. And just going to the readings, and my mom even supporting me on I just said that without thinking first, my bad. Thank you. Two short women with a lot of fire. and love. So, you know, taking Mama Sonia's classes, going to every reading, having every book, reading every book over and over again, talking to her on the phone, getting to the point in my life where we talk to Mama Sonia on the phone, which is never just a usual thing. And that this is one of my, you know, if I say, hey, my mama, Sonia Sanchez, a lot of people are, oh, for real? I'm like, oh, listen, I can't, you know, give you the whole, guys, it's not my real, but it is my real mom, but it's not, but it is. And then with Danny is is how I met him at her house. At one of her spectacular soirees. If Mama Sonia started throwing soirees at 92 when she turned 92 in September, you gonna wish you could come through. They are so great. And then Danny Simmons, and then whatever, and becoming friends with all these people, right? And just becoming comrades, and having to, her and I get on the phone together. Was a grow-up moment for me 2 weeks ago, so I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna end with that.
Thank you. Thank you for working to condense that.
Yeah. Thank you. Are you Apollo Theater hooking me right now?
No. I just wanna acknowledge that I brought that.
It was hard for me. Thank you for saving me.
Yeah, no.
Just
and
now.
I felt something in my heart to bring her.
She's more important to me. She's so important. She's so important to me and in general.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give you this because I don't want.
No, this is great. So before we shift the program, one of the things I want to say about just human moments, like taking space and taking breath and feeling called to acknowledge someone who has made an impact, those are the things that are not happening in the space of pumping out content with AI. So I think it's important to say, we're gonna just hold our breath with you, Ursula. Because that's what it means to be human. And I think we've been so used to producing and pumping out things that a lot of us have forgotten how to do that without being, agitated and on edge and all of that. So I'm grateful for the space that you took. And I just also want to acknowledge that is a part of why this work is important to me as a publisher who quit publishing and is now going to step back into publishing, because I do believe that this is what they call, ancestral intelligence, artistic intelligence, actual intelligence. And, I was having these lunches where I'm like, I got to advocate against the AI. And I'm like, how about I just get behind something that is for the humans. And so, with that, we have some humans who are going to share their offerings with us. So what I'm going to do is just invite the poets one by one. I have a list to the stage to share either what they wrote for the Poets Press and to talk about what news or current events they were responding to, and to share anything else they want to share, briefly following their sharing. So I want to. Yes, we are going to transition. Thank you. Let's give it up for Ursula Rucker and Yolanda Wisher.